Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, the internet, and the like, and welcome back to Team Fortress 2, where today we have with us a new loadout request, and this time I have been requested to use the pulse cannons of the game, specifically for the soldier, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Cowmangler 5000 and the Righteous Bison. As for the choice of melee, this one was actually up to me, so I chose to pair these two weapons up with the escape plan, but for the most part, I'm going to try and focus as much as I can on the primary and secondary weapons. The primary being the Bullmonger 6000, which is a rocket launcher replacement which does not require any ammunition. Additionally, it has this little alt-fire shot, which will consume all shots in the clip, but in turn of that, it shoots one mega laser, which will mini-crit players, sets them on fire for a short period of time, and additionally, it will disable engineer buildings for 4 seconds. And at the cost of these upsides, it deals completely inadequate damage against engineer buildings. I think it's 20% according to the TF2 wiki. And it cannot be crit boosted, but notably it can be mini crit boosted, so it still has that upside, but not even during humiliation can you crit boost the Cowmangler. It simply won't function that way. So the Cowmangler itself has gone underused for quite some time. I don't see this weapon being used very often in pubs, and that's mostly because of its big downside against engineers. Engineers are very prominent classes in pubs. You'll see them everywhere, from offense to defense, to King of the Hill, to attack and defend. They're just simply omnipresent. You can't get rid of them. And one good way to get rid of engineers and their buildings is to use a rocket launcher, but the Cowmangler still only does 20% damage to buildings with any shot. Now you can use the charge shot to disable buildings, but you better have some teammates back you up, otherwise you probably won't be doing much damage to the nest itself. Speaking of the charge shot, I always feel this sort of compulsive desire to use it whenever I see a large group of players, and that makes sense. I mean, the charge shot is meant to deal collateral damage against a group of players that least expect it. However, I get the feeling that I would deal a lot more damage had I just used the clip of my actual set of projectile rockets, not this one big projectile which only does the mini-crit damage of a single rocket, which may be nice in longer range terms, but at closer range, it seems like a bit of a waste to me. I don't even think the afterburn time lasts as long as a flamethrower's would, which still also makes it feel a bit unnecessary, but where it works, you know, to its merit, it does. It does work in some situations. However, it probably would be better to just use the actual rockets themselves. I mean, this is a rocket launcher replacement which holds infinite ammo. You don't need to scrounge around for ammo kits, and that is extremely good of an upside to consider using the Cowmangler. It's not the best. I mean, the lack of crit boosting can turn off some players. I mean, if you were playing on a no-crit server in this sort of situation, then it probably would be better, but just don't expect this weapon to take you very far if you're fighting against a wad of crit boosted damage. I mean, you can fight back with mini-crits, and I guess that's something I could experiment with at some point. However, I'm not using the buff banner this time. I'm using the Righteous Bison. So to conclude on the Cowmangler 5000, I think it's a really good rocket launcher, just not the best because of the excessive amount of engineers that tend to run around on the maps, at least most of the ones I play on. But for the most part, I would use it more than the Liberty launcher, and that's saying a lot. So next on our list of weapons which were obviously stolen from the USS Enterprise, we have the Righteous Bison laser pistol that replaces the shotgun in your secondary slot. This weapon, I actually really do truly appreciate. Its projectiles will penetrate both enemy players and also enemy buildings, so you can actually easily deal damage to any engineer who is turtling behind his sentry gun, which is clearly in range. Especially if rockets are just inadequate in that situation. I mean, ideally, you are supposed to equip this with the Cowmangler, but the Righteous Bison works with just about any rocket launcher that doesn't have this needlessly complicated or unnecessary gimmick attached to it. So, it does excel in that regard. It also excels at pretty much any range. This is a weapon which is a laser pistol, and the damage fall-off, I don't even think it has much fall-off to speak of. You could shoot at a sniper all the way across the map, and he's gonna take a decent amount of damage. And if this weapon crits, oh man, the crit damage is absolutely insane. You're going to want to use this weapon in a server which has random crits enabled, because again, this is a weapon that has infinite ammunition, and it's a pulse rifle laser pistol. It's absolutely amazing. of a weapon, and I don't really use it nearly enough. I mean, probably because it deals less damage to buildings, but to be honest, that shouldn't be much of a concern if you have an actual rocket launcher equipped, which isn't a pulse cannon. So, go ahead and try out the Righteous Bison. In fact, one hidden feature of the Bison itself is that it can ignite Huntsman arrows. So, the next time you do see a Huntsman sniper, because I forgot to demonstrate this in the gameplay, shoot at him. It will set his arrow on fire. Unless, of course, the sniper you shot at turned out to be an enemy sniper, and yeah, next time, Scotty, you might want to set the phasers to stun. And lastly, having taken this weapon from a nearby coal mine, we have the escape plan, which is a pickaxe. A bit of an interesting soldier replacement. This was the first melee unlockable ever added to the game, and it went through a couple of interesting phases, I guess you could say. Originally, the escape plan was called the Equalizer, and it was a weapon that would both deal damage and cause you to run faster as your health deteriorated. And at the cost of this, you wouldn't be able to be healed by medics while you were holding the thing out. And that's it. Eventually, after the Pyromaniac update occurred, this weapon was split into two iterations known as the escape plan and the Equalizer. The new Equalizer maintains that damage buff, but you cannot run faster as your health degenerates. And with the escape plan, it's just basically, if you hold this weapon out, you're gonna die. You take a mini-crit damage even when you holster the weapon for 3 seconds later. It's not really my favorite option because of those mini-crits you take, because the purpose is to escape. You're meant to retreat, but as soon as you hold this thing out, you better be prepared to be running a lot faster, otherwise you're going to die. A lot. I mean, I guess it really does depend on the situation you're thrown in. Overall, this weapon is somewhat decent and usually favored by a lot of soldiers, but me personally, I don't prefer it. If you want my thoughts on this loadout that I decided to experiment with today, I can sincerely say that I enjoyed it, because these are actual usable weapons. They work in the way they're supposed to work. They're probably not the most viable because they are side grades, but I enjoyed this loadout overall, having a nice change of pace and having weapons that have infinite ammo. I mean, who wouldn't want to use that? Well, clearly, almost everyone in the TF2 pubbing community, because you hardly see anyone using the Cow Mankler, nor do you see many people using the Righteous Bison. The escape plan is not even part of this set in particular, and it gets used more often than anything. So, overall, I liked it. I can't really speak for anyone else, but I would recommend you give it a shot at some point. Especially considering the fact that I normally just rock things with the gunboats, or I run around with a buff banner or a conch, but in this case, it was kind of nice to have my own little extra set of personal firepower, and the Righteous Bison certainly does excel in the field of long range, close range, medium range, just about any range. I like that weapon a lot. I like the Cow Mangler to a certain degree. I don't really prefer the escape plan, and that's all I have to say about this loadout. So, thank you very much for suggesting it, and thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day or evening, and I guess I will see you in the next video.
Good job, everyone.